Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, write a comment, give me some feedback, tell me how I'm doing, give me some suggestions, give me some ideas. I'm thinking about vlogging. I don't know if you guys are wanting to see how I vlog. I was thinking about putting a vlog of my vacation time with my family, a combination of stuff because I have a little bit of things here and there. I was thinking about doing a vlog for EDC for those who are interested in how that is, because I've always wanted to vlog for EDC, but I never really had a reason to. I was going to do it one day just to put it out because I love watching EDC vlog videos. I mean, they hype me up every time I go to EDC. So I would love to put one out, see if you guys are interested. I think I probably just will, just because for shits and giggles, because I want to, okay? But yeah, hopefully you guys keep on watching and enjoy the show. Hello peeps, thank you so much you guys for coming back. Hello peeps, thank you so much for returning back to my channel. I know that this topic is a bit heavy, so I'm going to try to make it as light as possible with a little bit of my quirkiness, a little bit of jokes here and there, Of course, I'm going to talk about coping skills and interventions that could be useful to you or maybe to someone else that you may want to suggest to that are probably going through the same thing as to what I'm going to talk about. Because remember, you guys, there's two different types of, actually, let me go back. You guys gotta remember too that being depressed, a lot of people think that you have to be lazy. You're not gonna have any energy. Those typical symptoms that you might get when you are suffering with depression. But there is such thing as a high functioning person who's suffering with depression. And I think it's super important for us to also remember that just because someone might look like they're happy or they're doing things that they're supposed to be doing, sometimes is not as happy as it is on the outside as it is on the inside, or what they're dealing with. Because a lot of people who are very high functioning, they are dealing with some type of depression, they tend to want to pile a lot of things in their lives in order for them to keep themselves occupied and not really deal with the depression. That's their coping mechanism. Being busy, keeping yourselves busy, putting your energy somewhere else because you just don't want to think about whatever's really bringing you down. So let's not forget about those high functioning people, okay? Now let's get started, you guys. Now let's get to the cheese. My personal experience with depression. It first started when I was 16. I didn't know what depression was until I talked to a really close friend of mine, and I was expressing how I felt, and I was telling him how I didn't feel like living anymore. And I didn't understand because I had a loving family, my parents loved me, I know they loved me, I had a really big family, so I didn't understand where these feelings were coming from and why I didn't want to live anymore. So he encouraged me to go seek therapy. And that's when I went and I asked for help. And I asked my mom, hey mom, can I go see a therapist? And her first response was, la loquera, okay pues. I'm like, yeah mom, la loquera, can I please go? And so she's like, yeah, sure, sweetie, I'll go take you. So she signed me up, which I was really, really grateful for. And luckily, I did have a family member that went through some type of anxiety, that they advised me not to take any depressant medication, to really try to figure out what was going on my own with just talking with a therapist. So right off the bat, I went in there, and when I started talking to the therapist, she did suggest medication and I turned it down. And it took about, I would say, 3 to 6 months for me to really figure out what was really making me depressed. Why was my self-esteem so low? Because that's pretty much what it was. I figured that out as I got older, that it was just my self-esteem. And I ended up finding out that my relationship with my best friends that I had for a really, really, really long time, and her approach in communicating with me was really making me depressed. And I didn't realize that it was affecting me that way because I got used to it. I thought it was normal. I didn't think much of it, that she was being somewhat of a negative Nancy, or bringing me down when she shouldn't be bringing me down. And so my approach was for me to cut her out. I was just like, I'm just gonna stop talking to her. And I really regret that approach, because I really wish that I would have actually communicated and let her know what was it that was going on, and because she deserved to know. She deserved to know why I cut her off. Because why not tell someone, hey, this and this, you did this and it hurt my feelings, so maybe if they're willing to change, why not? Why not? So I felt really bad that I did that. Luckily, we were able to hash our stuff, because she reached out to me after we graduated, and we talked, and we pretty much figured out that, yeah, she was going through a lot of stuff at home. A lot of stuff at home. And I started picking up that pattern within the people that came into my life, that I've noticed that a lot of people who tend to be aggressive or negative or putting you down is because there's stuff that's going on in their own home. So if you're in high school, or you have a friend that's constantly always negative or moping around or complaining or aggressive, it's because there's something that's going on in the house. Something that we don't know what's going on. And that's pretty much what was going on with my best friend. She was going through a lot of stuff at home, and she didn't know how to deal with those emotions. So I got, the shit out of the shit at the end of the stick, basically. And I mean, it wasn't right that I also cut her off like that too. So there's a lot of things that I wish I would have done differently, as much that she wished she would have done differently. But I think that shit just happens for a reason, right? And we good now. We good. We hashed. Okay, high school. Also, in high school, girls were really mean to me, because they thought I was trying to get at their mans or something. I think that every girl thinks that way in high school. And I was just minding my own biz. They roll on me on the basket, on the stalls. They drew a fish, call me Dory. Because if you guys didn't know this, back in the day when I was in high school, my nickname was Dory, because I looked like her. They thought I was funny like her. I lost my memory like her. Whatever's. I got it. I thought it was funny too. I didn't get upset. But the girls used that as leverage, and they were trying to use that as a bullying mechanism. Shit didn't work. Granted, it did hurt my feelings, you guys, because I was like, the fuck, I didn't do nothing to you guys. And how did I handle it? This time around, I actually confronted the person, and it got squashed. But it ended as soon as I communicated. Didn't do that with my best friend, though. My ex-best friend at the time. So, you live and you learn, right? And what's funny is that it happened again. After high school, I had an incident with another good friend of mine, where there's a lot of things that were going on between us that we weren't really talking and communicating, that shit hit the fan when we drank, and it just exploded. That's another whole story. It exploded, and it was a total misunderstanding. We fought. We were yelling at each other. We were trying to kick each other's asses and stuff. And I was like, I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. And yeah, and then that incident happened, and what did I do? Didn't communicate. When I was really young, not only was that going on, because it's not fully her, it wasn't just her. There was a lot of shit that was going on during high school, and for me, there was a lot of rumors being spread around me in high school with boys. Boys were spreading a lot of really, really crappy rumors around me, and it was really hurting my self-esteem. I mean, nasty. Like going past my classroom and saying stuff to me, like that's how bad it was, you guys. You guys, if you're watching and you were like that, bless your heart. Bless your heart. And I really hope that your daughters do not go through the same thing. But I will tell you this. Once I got to know these boys, or men now, more, when I got to know their actual living situation, what they've gone through, now I understand. I don't forgive them, but I completely understand when they were asses, why they treated girls like crap, because they didn't have a really good home setting. I'll just leave it at that. They both had really bad home settings. They both had really bad home settings. And of course, they took it out on other people because they did that was their coping mechanism. They were unhappy with themselves, so they took it out on someone who was an easy target, which was me. And it really, yeah, okay, you guys, it really messed me up because after that, any type of rejection would really just tug at me and put me back into that depressed hole that I usually say. And I noticed that when it comes down to guys and rejection, it's a huge trigger for me to just go right back in there. And then the reason why I'm bringing up the whole guy situation is some of that stemmed from my relationship with my father. My father was always there for us financially. He worked hard like all of our Hispanic parents, my mom, my dad. They worked their asses off to give me what I have today. You know, the support, the loving family, all that stuff. But because my family was working so much, my dad and my mom, they weren't really there emotionally. You know, they were trying to, give us the best that they could. And I think that really did something to me that I didn't have my dad emotionally there. My mom was always there emotionally, and I think that's why that part of me is there, because she modeled that behavior for me. She really taught me how to be empathetic and how to give and give and give. My dad was silly, funny, but I never really saw that affectionate side from him. And I've noticed that as the years went on, as I got older, it really affected the type of relationships that I chose. The relationship I chose, as in friendship sometimes, as in the men that I dated. A lot of it was me trying to fill that void that I never received from my father. And we tend to do that a lot. A lot of people who don't have a mother, or they don't have... Now, going back to high school. When I was really depressed in high school, what I ended up doing as a coping mechanism was self-harm, cutting. The shitty part about this whole situation is that I picked up on that because I was watching the show Degrassi. Degrassi was a show that was on Noggin, and it was based off of Canada. And that's where Drake come from, if you guys didn't know that. And I think the show's on Netflix too. And there's an episode there where they show Emma going through some stuff. And Emma decides to practice self-harm on herself. And so I watched it and I thought, well, I feel pretty shitty. Is that gonna work for me? Is that gonna work for me? And what did I do like a dummy? I went and I did it. I thought to myself, well, she's doing it. It's probably gonna work for me. The show never really ended her story when it came down to that situation, which I really do not like. I wish they would have ended it and they would have explained how it's wrong, or how she could go get help, or that it's just a mechanism. It's the same thing as if you were to choose to drink. It's just she chose to cut herself to release some stress. So I understand why YouTube don't want you to talk about self-harm or have pictures or anything like that, because it's promoting it. Pictures, talking about it, showing. Nah, I wouldn't even want to post that stuff because it happened to me. I fell for that. I fell for it being shown because I was susceptible and very gullible. And I modeled the behaviors that were being taught on TV. And I kept it a secret. And that's one thing that I regret also, because I wish that I would have said something to more people so that maybe I would have been able to stop a lot sooner. So because I didn't really talk about it and I kept it a secret, every time shit would hit the fan, like really, really bad. Like rejecting. Like I'm depressed, I will go back to cutting. I will be like, I gotta do it because it's good. And for me, it wasn't about watching the blood or anything like that. For me, it was a sense of relief. I did the cutting and the pain pretty much substituted what I was feeling on the inside. So it was a sense of relief. Kind of like how I feel like when I cry for a really long time. And then I just decided to switch it on over to the cutting, because when I had cut, I stopped crying. So it was just, I just picked up a different habit, that the habit loop that I keep talking about. So now, whenever I feel depressed or I feel really shitty, I'm like, no, I got to do something to get myself out of it. I got to feel the emotion. That's one thing that I will always say, you guys. Feel sad, feel angry, go through the jealousy. But the important part is not getting stuck there. We get stuck there. When we get stuck there for 6 months to almost a year, I really suggest for you to talk to a therapist. I will always say this, talk to a therapist. That's one thing that I took away from everything. And this is why I went into mental health, and this is why it sparked an interest in me when I received therapy and how much it worked for me. And I was like, oh, it really works. But you gotta be able to talk about your feelings. And I know sometimes it's super hard for people to even say anything to anyone, especially a stranger. But don't knock it till you try it. Give it a try. It's kind of the same thing as riding a bike, right? We ride the bike, we put it on the training wheels, we take one off, we keep on going, then we take one off, and then boom, we're going. It's the same thing with therapy. If you don't like the therapist, switch it up. You don't have to be stuck with the therapist if you don't like them. A lot of people are different. I've met a lot of different therapists, and you find someone that fits you and your needs. What do you need? Do you need someone that you can talk to every week? Do you need someone that you need to talk to on the phone? I don't know, but everybody does different things, and you can find someone that fits you. If you have a therapist and you think that it's a good fit, and then eventually you guys are not a good fit, cut it off. Do not waste your money. Find someone you connect with, that you feel like there's progress. And just keep in mind that therapy is not forever. You can always go back to it, but don't try to make it into another coping mechanism. Try to find that safeness elsewhere in the home setting. That's what the therapist should help you, is trying to find that safe space where you feel like, okay, since I can't talk to you no more, I need to talk to somebody. You gotta, I gotta make sure I set up my client for success. So I want to make sure you have support, and making sure you have that support system afterwards is really important. Talking about how you feel is probably the best coping mechanism you can do in regards to depression. Talk. And I know it's hard for a lot of people. I can't seem to stop talking. And I think that that's what's been helping me. But sometimes it bites me in the ass because I'm a G-Law. But anyways, talking, you guys, talk. Talk about it. The best thing that I received from school, and my teacher has said to us, that stuck with me forever, is don't be scared to talk about old things. Because if you haven't talked about it, that means you're still holding on to that emotion, to that physical feeling you felt when that memory or in that situation happened. The more you talk about it, that feeling detaches itself from the memory. That's why a lot of people who go through trauma, they always suggest that it's better for you to talk about it over and over and over and over, because that feeling goes away the more you talk about it. You remember, you'll never forget that traumatic event ever in your whole entire life. But that feeling that you carry when that situation happened in that moment won't be there anymore. It's not going to be weighing your ass down and making you sad. That's why it's so important for you to talk about it. That's why it's so important for you to go seek therapy. If you don't want to talk to a therapist, it's fine. Talk to someone you trust. Talk to a friend. Talk to a family member. Talk to a stranger. Sometimes that works. You meet someone, you click, boom, spill out all your beans, let it out. You never know. They might be good at hearing. They might give you some good advice that you've never even thought about. Maybe they went through the same thing as you have. You never even knew. Who knows? But talking about it is huge, you guys. I know that some people use substance abuse to help you talk. I know that it's very easy to do that, and if it happens and you are able to have breakthroughs, great. But I will always suggest for you to really try to step out of your box and try to communicate when you're not intoxicated. Try to communicate when you're not drinking or smoking or anything that has any type of substance inside of you, or coffee. Do what you have to do to practice. Baby steps. Practice with a family member. Talk, hey, you know what? I'm having trouble. I don't know what the hell I'm going to say to this person. Let me practice with you, One big thing that I will always say is talk. Talk about how you feel. Communication, 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 communication. That never gets old. Because ain't no one gonna know how you feel if you don't say nothing. You can't assume that they're gonna know. One thing I forgot to mention. One of my favorite coping skills was going on YouTube and watching my YouTubers. And that really helped me get out of my funk when I felt like crap. I watched a lot of funny YouTubers. I watched Manny a lot. I used to watch Manny MUA. I still do. I watch Jaclyn Hill. All the beauty gurus. It was really crazy for me to watch them grow within like 2 or 3 years, because I watched them when they had like 10K followers. So that's a coping skill that I've always used, and I still do. And comedy shows. Oh my God, comedy shows. Anything that makes me laugh is a huge coping skill. It makes me in a good mood. Listening to podcasts that make me laugh, comedy specials, things like that. Sorry if my camera's moving. Now back to the regular screening where I don't look like shit. Let's start talking about it, people. All right? Let's make the loquera cool. Let's make the loquera cool, okay? Let's make therapy cool, okay? Oh, I got a therapist. Yeah, me too. What's her name? Oh, let me connect you to my therapist, cause she cool, you know. Oh, let's have therapy talk together. Whatever, make it fun. Hopefully one day we'll get to that point where the stigmatism isn't there, where it's okay to talk about your shit and just laugh about it. Sometimes you just gotta laugh about it, but at the same time, you talking about it, and that's what's important, you guys. Talking. Use that moment to problem solve. You know, I go through my emotions and I just problem solve, and that's it. Problem solve. Cry, be depressed, then problem solve. Problem solve. I always say that. You gotta problem solve. Feel it, but then problem solve. Don't get stuck there. Don't get stuck in the depressed hole. Problem solve. How the heck can you not get yourself back into that hole? Don't forget to subscribe. Bye, guys. I'm rambling, but I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you guys later, and hope you guys have a really good weekend. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Don't think I forgot, you guys. I am gonna post when I cried last week and how I was able to get out of my funk. And just a little FYI, I listen to music, and that helped me out a lot. And I was working, so it distracted me a lot. But brace yourself, because I look like shit, okay? So if you don't want to see it, just fast forward. Okay? You know, I think it's really important that that I document the days that I feel like shit. When I hit that depression mode. Today's a really hard day. A lot of shit happened. More than I can handle. But I'm trying really hard to stay positive, you know. I just really hope that you guys are able to pull through the way I can sometimes. Update, you guys. So I'm back from working. I feel a lot better. It actually distracted me because I talked to one of my clients' caregivers, so I feel a lot better. I am still thinking about what happened. I'm still a little distraught, but the day's not over. I cried, I let it out. I might have another crying outburst. Who knows? I hope not, but if I do, gotta let it out and go about my day. Hopefully I feel better by the end of the day. Hopefully I don't feel like this for a lot of days. I'll keep you guys updated. So on to going home to do my notes and document what I did with my client today. It's really interesting. Too bad I can't talk about it. See you guys later.